Clean a burette with detergent, including its inside walls. Then rinse it thoroughly with tap water. Rinse the tip of the burette by opening the stopcock and letting the water flow. Rinse the inside walls by rolling the burette in your hands. The burette is clean when water droplets do not cling to the inner surface. Obtain about 75 ml of the sodium hydroxide solution in a clean and dry 100 ml beaker, then cover with a watch glass. Rinse the burette with 3 portions of about 5 ml of the sodium hydroxide solution. Discard sodium hydroxide rinsate into the sink with running water. Do not forget to rinse the inner walls of the burette with the sodium hydroxide solution. Fill the burette with sodium hydroxide to slightly above the 0 mark. Remove the air bubbles from the tip of the burette by draining the sodium hydroxide into a small beaker. Read the sodium hydroxide level to within plus minus 0.01 ml and record its value as the initial sodium hydroxide reading. Place a clean and dry 100 ml beaker in an analytical balance. Add 0.25 xx grams of KHP, where x can be any number. Record the weight of KHP. Dissolve all the KHP with distilled water by adding about 25 ml of distilled water to the beaker with constant stirring. Transfer the KHP solution into a clean 250 ml Erlenmeyer flask. Rinse the beaker and the stirring rod and transfer the rinsate to the flask to make sure all of the acid has been completely transferred. Do this for trials 1 to 3. Add 3 drops of phenolphthalein indicator to the acid solution in the Erlenmeyer flask. Place the flask containing the acid solution and indicator under the burette. A white piece of paper placed under the flask will aid in the color detection. By opening the stopcock, add sodium hydroxide from the burette to the flask while swirling until the color of the solution in the flask turns faint pink. There should be a 1-drop difference between when the solution is colorless and when it is pink. The color of the solution should remain faint pink even after continuous swirling. If too much base is added and the solution turns fuchsia pink, discard the solution and repeat the titration. When the proper endpoint is reached, read and record the final sodium hydroxide reading. Then calculate the molarity of the sodium hydroxide from the titration. From the standardized sodium hydroxide stock solution, prepare 100 ml of the following sodium hydroxide standard solutions through serial dilution. Pour a small amount of the standardized sodium hydroxide solution in a beaker. Pipette the calculated volume of sodium hydroxide and transfer into a properly labeled 100 ml volumetric flask. Add distilled water into the volumetric flask until the 100 ml mark. Mix the solution for homogenization. Proceed with the flame test. These are the data for the flame test done in duplicates. For the data treatment, refer to your procedure for the complete instructions.